First question, how do we sell the first phase of this, which is the UV headlight program? It's pretty common to see lights come in a shop that may look like this. And what shops run into is right side is being repaired. They may have a brand new lens that they've replaced, and it has that look to it. And here's the other side. Customer has a pretty legitimate complaint here that this particular light looks absolutely horrendous. So what are we going to do about this? There are several programs out in the field right now. Basically, they're buffing kits. They're Band-Aids. They're just removing the glare on top or the UV product that's come to the top. They are not replacing this back to its OE capabilities out there. So we're going to take you through a program here. We've prepped some product here so we don't have to have you guys basically watch us through the whole evening here. We stepped this down. As you can see, we have 400, 800, 1500. Mark's going to take you through the proper steps. We're going to go ahead and put the UV product on it, hit it with the lamp. We'll go right down the line here.
Absolutely. So as Mark said, we did prep this for you tonight. So what we've got done, first thing you're going to do, the light can either be on the car or off the car. It doesn't matter. Keep in mind, the UV light is only going to cure the surface of the light. So anything on the outside edges, you want to make sure you're going to mask those areas off. If the product comes over the edge of the lens and you're only curing the face, all this is going to stay gummy around the edges, stay tacky. So you want to make sure that you mask that off. So preparation procedure is pretty simple. I'm going to take a little bit of scuff and clean in the gray scuff pad, scrub the face of the lens just to make sure you get the waterborne contaminants off the surface, rinse it, blow it dry. You're going to come back next. I started with some 400. Depending on how bad the lens is, this one was pretty bad. Some are really yellow that are out there. I took 400 on a 3-inch DA, started working it until everything came off. And you'll see this film kind of diminish off the panel as you start sanding. It almost looks like an old clear coat job, and you may see the line. Just keep chasing that line and sand it completely off. If you leave the old coating on the lens and try to go over it, you're going to see that where that old coating is, and it's not going to look very nice. So 400, get it off. Come back with some 800, same thing. Go back with some 1500, and then I took a little 2000 by hand. Just give it a nice quick sand. So we went from these steps to this. Now this is where we're at right now. So.
Now the steps Mark's just talked about is no different than some of the other brands that are out there. They're just prepping it, stepping it up, polishing it, and sending it down the road. The difference we're going to do is we're going to put a UV coating back on this. A couple things to keep in mind. We have some challenges with temperature in New England, especially around this time of the year. We're going to go through a situation where it's going to start to warm up, but panel temperature may be a little bit cool. These products work best at 75 degrees or above. How many shops are 75? Probably zero. So we're going to suggest heat them up a little bit. If you're going to go through this repair, take a heat lamp, heat up that plastic first to make sure that the solvents will flash off in this so it gets a nice, consistent repair.
A lot easier when they're on the car, you're not wrestling with them. Just like any preparation procedure we're going to teach you at SEM, you're going to wipe it on, wipe it off in the same direction. Make sure you move the contaminants off the surface. Like Mark said, if the lens is a little bit cold, this one's getting a little bit chilly right now.
You know what?
I got the extension cord.
Okay.
Sorry. When you're applying this product, it's real important you don't put it all on in one coat. It'll start to run, sag, it'll get extremely cloudy and hazy. You're not going to be wet sanding and buffing this as you would a regular clear coat. So you want to make sure you put it on in 2 to 3 light coats, give it a couple minutes flash in between coats. If you got a little heat gun that you can use in between coats to help it flash, you can. The heat gun will not dry it. Other questions you're going to get, can I take a regular heat light and put on it? That's not going to dry it either. It is a UV cure product, so make sure the only thing you cure this with is a UV light.
Yeah, that's a great question. The most important issue right there is thin coats, light thin coats. I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little heat to let this flash. It'll also flow it out a little bit.
Don't be afraid, it's going to look a little peely. As it sets, the product will level out. It'll look down a little bit. You're not going to get 100% flat lens all the time. It will have a little bit of peel to it. But what we're giving you is back to OEM specs as far as the looms that the light's putting out. So it'll increase the looms by about 200% over an old dulled out finish.
Have you run into any situations where shops or repair facilities have rejected sticker situations because of lenses like this? So not only in the automotive collision side of it, also in the repair side. Let these guys know that there are kits available that's putting on a permanent coating, the UV coating.
If any of you guys have shops that you call on that are obviously mechanical and body shop, that's great. Or if any of the body shops have a mechanic friend, make sure you show them about this product and tell them about it. Maybe they'll send that work to the body shop,
yep,
and you'll get the business on that end.
So Mark, what do you recommend for flash time there? How long are you going to let that flash?
It flashes about 2 minutes at about 77 degrees. So we've got the panel kind of warm. Obviously we're not 77 in here yet. A couple months away for that. But it's real important that you give it its flash time. If you try to build it up too soon, that hazing and clouding can come back, and more importantly, you can maybe have a couple runs that you don't want. If you can get it done in 2 coats, that's great, 2 light coats. If you think it might need a 3rd coat, you can always go back at a 3rd light coat. There again, just giving it a flash time. Now before we cure this with the light, we're going to give this about a 5-minute flash. Now that the lens is kind of laid down, you can definitely see we've made an improvement on the lens. So we've taken it from the middle right to the end.